She has been called a goddess, a ghost, a genius. Isabelle Adjani is all of them, and none. Her face launched films, her fury shattered scripts, her silence often spoke louder than her stardom. From teenage prodigy to haunted legend, her life is a cinema of splendor and scars. This is not just the story of an actress, it is the story of a woman who burned too brightly to be contained. Isabelle Adjani's transformation from a teenage unknown into the luminous face of French cinema began with a single seismic performance. Her role in the story of Adele H at just 19 didn't merely launch a career, it carved a legend. With her ethereal beauty and piercing, soulful eyes, Adjani became more than a star. She became a symbol of elegance, of madness, of mystery. She would go on to be the first actress to win 5 César Awards, a record that still stands, and an achievement that sealed her as one of cinema's most enigmatic and formidable talents. But behind that incandescent presence was a woman often surrounded by darkness, both internal and external. The years have brought her critical acclaim and profound sorrow, public adoration and betrayal, artistic triumph and legal scandal. The story of Isabelle Adjani is not one of linear success, but of survival through turbulence, a life where beauty and pain have walked side by side. Born on June 27, 1955, in Paris's 17th arrondissement, Isabelle Yasmine Adjani was raised in the working-class suburb of Gennevilliers. Her heritage was a complicated blend. Her father, Mohamed Sharif Adjani, was an Algerian and a veteran of the French army. Her mother, Emma Augusta Schweinberger, was German from Bavaria. The couple's union after World War II was as fraught as it was unlikely. Emma did not speak French when she arrived in Paris, and the clash of cultures and expectations soon caused strain. So much so, Emma urged her husband to drop Mohammed from his name, urging assimilation over authenticity. Isabelle and her younger brother Eric grew up in a household marked by tension, between languages, between values, between past wounds that were never quite acknowledged. Isabelle, fluent in both French and German, often felt caught in between. She didn't belong entirely to either world, too Arab for France, too French for Algeria, too German for either. Acting, then, became more than just a profession. It was a sanctuary. Her first moment on stage came at 12, after winning a poetry recital contest. That initial spark would grow into a fierce, almost spiritual dedication to performance. Her family remained modest. Her father worked in a garage, her mother kept the home. But Isabelle's imagination was expansive. She forged her identity not through her upbringing, but through characters, dialogue, and the transformative nature of art. Her brother Eric remained her confidant, her mirror. When he died in 2010 at just 53, the loss was shattering. "It's a wound I cannot speak of," she said, her grief so deep it seemed to suspend language itself. Adjani's screen debut came early. At 14, she appeared in Le Petit Bougnat, 1970. But it wasn't until she joined the Comédie Française at 17, the youngest actor ever admitted, that her path solidified. Despite failing the entrance exam to the prestigious Conservatoire, she stunned audiences with roles in Ondine, Miss Julie, and The School for Wives. But even then, she resisted confinement. At the height of her theater fame, she walked away from the stage, declaring her heart belonged to cinema. Her gamble paid off. In 1975, François Truffaut cast her in The Story of Adele H, where she portrayed Victor Hugo's daughter as she unraveled into obsession and madness. The role demanded everything, and Adjani gave it. The performance earned her an Academy Award nomination, the youngest at the time, and international acclaim. Critics like Pauline Kael heralded her as extraordinary. She wasn't just acting, she was becoming. Adjani quickly established herself as a performer willing to immerse completely, often to a dangerous degree. In 1981, she delivered 2 wrenching performances in Quartet and Possession, the latter now legendary for its terrifying subway scene, a spasm of grief, rage, and psychic collapse. It took just 2 takes, but Adjani later revealed it nearly destroyed her. The role triggered a psychological break in a suicide attempt, and yet it also won her Best Actress at Cannes. In 1983, she took home her second César for One Deadly Summer, playing a woman who weaponizes sexuality in pursuit of revenge. That same year, she released a musical collaboration with Serge Gainsbourg, Pull Marine, its surreal underwater video directed by Luc Besson. It was another medium, another mask, another way to express her fragmentation. Her crowning artistic achievement came in 1988 with Camille Claudel, a project she co-produced and poured herself into completely. To play the tortured sculptor, Adjani learned sculpting, immersed herself in Claudel's letters, and channeled her own emotional wreckage. The result was a performance of staggering intensity, earning her another Oscar nomination and her third César Award. Later came La Reine Margot, 1994, an explosive historical epic that won her a fourth César, and Skirt Day, 2009, which earned her a fifth. In each, she doesn't perform so much as exercise, screaming, seething, breaking apart on screen with such conviction that viewers are left breathless. Adjani's personal life mirrored the volatility of her characters. Her first son, Barnabé Nuiten, was born in 1979 from her relationship with cinematographer Bruno Nuiten. Though never married, their connection was enduring. Years after they separated, Adjani invited Nuiten to direct Camille Claudel, a painful, perhaps cathartic collaboration that mirrored their shared emotional terrain. Then came Daniel Day-Lewis, the man she once believed to be her great love. Their relationship, which lasted 6 years, seemed destined for permanence. She embraced his son from a prior marriage. She believed in a future, but in 1995, while pregnant with their child, she received a sudden, impersonal fax from Day-Lewis ending their relationship. He left France without explanation. Adjani gave birth to Gabriel Cain, Day-Lewis alone. There was no public acknowledgement from the father. Not then, not now. She never publicly vilified him. Instead, she spoke with aching clarity. The man I loved may have existed only in my imagination. In the early 2000s, she became engaged to musician Jean-Michel Jarre. But weeks before their wedding, she publicly ended it, accusing him of infidelity with actress Anne Parillo. Jarre dismissed their love as trivial. In his next album, he used an image of Parillo's eyes, erasing Adjani even in art. She had offered her heart, and twice it was left to break in the open. After this, she seemed to retreat, not in bitterness, but in quiet exhaustion. In 2004, a different kind of man entered her life, Stéphane Delajou, a renowned neurosurgeon known as Le Docteur des Stars. He wasn't from the entertainment world. He didn't seek the spotlight. For nearly 5 years, they shared a stable, if discreet, partnership. And then, in 2008, it ended, silently, with no scandal, no statement. Adjani never publicly loved again. But just as her heart was healing in silence, a new storm erupted, this time legal, financial, and public. In 2023, a Paris court convicted Isabelle Adjani of tax fraud and money laundering, sentencing her to a 2-year suspended prison term. The charges were severe, relocating her official residence to Portugal between 2016 and 2017 to avoid a €236,000 tax bill, failing to report a €120,000 deposit into a US bank account, and most controversially, disguising a €2 million gift from Senegalese businessman Mamadou Diagne Ndiaye as a loan. Ndiaye, notably, is the godfather of Adjani's son, Gabriel Cain. The intersection of personal intimacy and financial secrecy made the case all the more scandalous. Adjani's attorney, Olivier Pardo, fought back, accusing the court of procedural injustice. "They are relentlessly pursuing her," he told Variety. He claimed she was denied the chance to appear and defend herself in person. For many, it felt like a trial not just of finances, but of character. This wasn't her first controversy. In 2016, her name surfaced in the Panama Papers, linked to an offshore company in the British Virgin Islands. In 2020, she faced another investigation, this time accused by a former advisor of misusing her company's credit card for over €364,000 in personal expenses. Adjani denied the allegations and countersued for embezzlement. Through it all, she maintained her innocence. "The money was a loan. I am repaying it," she said, blaming mismanagement and betrayal by her inner circle, compounded by emotional exhaustion from years of private pain. Despite the scandals, Adjani has not faded. She remains artistically engaged, appearing in films, streaming series, and theatrical projects. Yet the 2023 conviction hangs like a shadow over her legacy. Still, Isabelle Adjani is not defined by her falls, but by the force with which she rises from them. She has never been a conventional icon. Where others play it safe, she dives into the abyss. Her beauty is undeniable, but it is her brokenness that makes her unforgettable. If Catherine Deneuve represents grace and Juliette Binoche, intellect, then Isabelle Adjani is the wound that never fully closed, a bleeding heart wrapped in silk. Her life, like her performances, is not tidy, but it is true. And perhaps that is the price of being both muse and mirror, to reveal again and again how beauty can be haunted and how even the most dazzling light casts a shadow. Isabelle Adjani remains an enigma, wounded, defiant, and unforgettable. Her brilliance is not in perfection, but in the raw, unfiltered truth she brings to every role. She has fallen, risen, and burned again, never once asking for forgiveness. And in that fire, she became more than a star. She became a myth. Thanks for watching.